He was a good man, trying to do the thing that women have been asking men to do for as long as I've been alive. And these bootlicking evil motherfuckers murdered him. So as you can see, I'm a little bit of a mess today. Just woke up. I made my coffee. I loaded the dishwasher. My hair is still sleep hair. It's, again, not going to be my normal content. I don't feel like being laughy and jokey and talking about things that I'm enjoying right now is really authentic to what's happening for me. I usually try and approach things in a lighthearted way, whether it's like a self-deprecating jokes or trying to find a way to laugh at myself through really tough situations. And things keep happening that have sort of made that feel gross. And I don't know how anyone could not know. I don't know how anyone could not see it or hear about it. There was another murder by ICE, Alexi Pretti. And this one hit me harder than any other police brutality that has been televised. And I really, really wanted to sit with that. And I hope that you, if you're a white woman specifically, that you will sit in that with me while I talk about it. I remember when Trayvon Martin died, and I was a little backstory. I grew up in a conservative household. My parents are both boomers. They would have gotten on their knees and sucked Reagan's dick if they had the chance. And also they were poor. So they tried to drill home that trickle-down economics and not taxing the rich, and it was the best thing for the economy, even though they lived in poverty. I was very lucky to get out of that, to get out of the conservative cult. I was very fortunate to meet people, move out of my town. So when Trayvon Martin died, I was still in contact with my parents. I don't remember if I was still living at home. I think I was. And I remember my parents saying, well, he deserved it. Like, he was being suspicious. Like, what did you think was going to happen? And Trayvon was near to my brother's age at the time. And I just remember looking at my mom like, that could have been your son. But you think he deserved it? For walking in the dark with a hood on? He deserved to get shot by some wannabe police officer? And they were adamant. And it felt so evil. It felt so evil. Those sentiments haven't changed with the Republican Party. They haven't changed. I think there might be some people after the death of Renee Good that are sort of waking up because they see their mothers, daughters, sisters in Renee. But if they don't see it in Renee or in Alex, there's no hope for them. There's no hope for them. And when I saw Alex, the news came out about Alexi Pretti, and I saw his face, he looks like a friend of mine. Like they could be brothers. And And I just started crying. Like I'd never cried before over the death of a stranger. And I was so angry. This man was trying to do the right thing. He was trying to help women, and they murdered him for it. He was a good man, trying to do the thing that women have been asking men to do for as long as I've been alive. And these bootlicking, evil motherfuckers murdered him. And I was trying to figure out why this hit me so hard. And then I started thinking back to when Breonna Taylor was murdered and how angry I was that anybody would say that she deserved it, or she shouldn't have been in that man's house, or that's what happens when you hang out with people who are not good people. Conservatives were reaching, white people were reaching for excuses on why Breonna Taylor deserved to be murdered and that it was her fault. And I was livid. And we all saw George Floyd be murdered by police officers in Minnesota. And all of those deaths pissed me off. So why am I having such a visceral reaction to this man who I didn't know in Minneapolis being shot that way? And I think that it finally hit me because I've been hearing Black women say forever that it's going to take the police brutalizing white people the way they brutalize Black people for white people to care. And I always thought, like, yeah, that's absolutely correct. But also acknowledging the fact that I do care and have cared since Trayvon Martin was murdered. But then I felt icky. I felt gross. I felt weird. And I had to stop and say, well, okay, what is that? What do I feel weird about? And I think what it is for me is there's still a level of patriarchy and white supremacy that I haven't broken through yet, because for some reason I thought, well, if they're killing white men who are supposed to be the ones that's supposed to be the line. White men are supposed to be the line. White gun-toting, lawfully gun-toting men are supposed to be the line. Then what is the line? Who keeps us safe? If good men can't keep everyone safe, then who keeps us safe? And so yesterday, I just spent the day sort of grieving and trying to sort out what it is that triggered me so much. And I think it's finally the realization that there aren't enough Alex Prettis out there. I need the white men to hear this. There aren't enough of you. He was by himself trying to help these women. A fucking hero. He was the best of you. And he was by himself. And there aren't enough of you out there. There aren't enough of you that have the balls to show up the way he showed up. And that's scary. And I kind of always, I really want to believe that there are enough good men out there that would do the same thing that Alex did. Go out there and try to help people who are more marginalized than he is against horrific men. But the truth is that y'all are scared of those motherfuckers too. And I think the difference is, and stay with me, the difference is that women know that we face death with a strange man. We know. Some of us have made peace with that. Y'all don't have to live with that fear, but we need y'all to get right with it now, because this isn't gonna go the way that we need it to go, the way the people need it to go, unless y'all are standing with the rest of us. White folks have to stand up next to brown and black folks the way we've not done that. And white men, good white men, need to stand up next to women the way they never have. And I just want to say thank you to all of the Black women especially who have been reminding us, and rightfully so, that Breonna Taylor was also a healthcare worker. That Keith Porter was also murdered by ICE this year. Another good man. And I need the white women to hear this. The way that we're feeling about Alex Pretti dying while trying to help this woman, the way that we feel that men have not stood with us and for us, is the same way that Black women feel about us. And we haven't. Collectively, we haven't. We've failed them over and over and over again. And I know it's scary. It's fucking terrifying. But what's the alternative? We just let them win? The Minnesota protest on Friday, their general strike, tens of thousands of people showed up. And I was streaming at the time, and someone came in and said they declared the protest unlawful. They started arresting people. And immediately I was like, the ACLU's got that. The unions there have got that. They're prepared for that. They know that that's going to happen. They have organized so well. They already know that's going to happen. They know that people are going to be arrested, and they can't arrest everybody. There are not enough ICE agents to kill all of us. Even if, and this is never, ever, 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 ever going to happen. I want to be very clear about that. If you're not following Knitting Cult Lady on, I was going to say TikTok, but TikTok is borked right at this time of recording. So I don't know, wherever, YouTube, Instagram. She's a former Army captain and intelligence officer. Even if the president ordered the military to invade cities in the United States, there is no way that would happen. There's no way that would work out well for him and his administration. And I think that fear that we have of him weaponizing the military, the fear that we have of them sending in troops to cities, not the National Guard, that's different, but sending in troops to cities, we have to take that fear and direct it towards the police officers in your city and ICE in your city. There's a reason he hasn't sent in the military yet, because the military would tell him no. But ICE, DHS, the local police, they're all the same. But even if there's not enough of them to take out all of us, but we all have to show up in the ways that we can. So I'm not just going to sit here and lecture you and preach at you. I am going to give you some resources so that you can feel like you have something actionable to do to help. There was a woman in my DMs on Instagram last night who was trying desperately to find something that she could do to be of real help. Those are her words. And I hope that I was able, if you're listening, I hope that I was able to convince you that you can be of real help in your own community, right? You don't have to go to Minnesota. You don't have to go to Texas. You don't have to go to Florida. You have to get your community prepared. And some of the ways that you can do that are looking up your local ICE training. What do you do when you see them? How do you report them? And if you don't have that in your area, I will link some places down below that are giving trainings that can maybe facilitate a virtual training. Even in the wake of Renee and Alex being observers, doing what good citizens should be doing, we still need people to do that. And if you can live stream it, either go live on Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, wherever, live stream it, and have your live stream settings to automatically save the video as a post. That way, people will have access to it if they steal your phone. Also, learning first aid. Get first aid trained. Get to know your neighbors. And if you know your neighbors well, have a weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever works for everyone meeting on planning how you can help your neighbors. Get the people you can together that you can trust. Keep your cell phones at another place. Don't do it online. Formulate a plan. What do you do if ICE comes to your neighborhood and starts knocking on doors? Who in your neighborhood is at risk? And I'm going to have all of the information that I have found linked in the show notes below so that you have somewhere to start. You can also start by forming a union at your workplace. I know that in a lot of places it's fucking hard and everyone is scared to lose their job because you might lose your health care right now. But the reason why Minnesota was able to do the things that they did is because of unions and because of community care. And you can't do that if you don't know your neighbors. You got to get out and know your neighbors. Join your local Democratic group, leftist group, Democratic Socialist group, whatever faction of the left you align with. Join them. Go to the meetups. Listen, volunteer, show up to protests and rallies. These are all things that you can do in your community. Not everyone can or should be on the front lines of a protest. But if you are young, able-bodied, that is the first thing that you can do that will make a difference. I will also leave, again, a link for 5calls.org. I know that calling Congress people who are, when we're in red states, I'm in Florida, Rick Scott never answers the phone. I leave that bitch a message every time. It is tallied. There's a record of it. And we have to find ways to overwhelm them. We have to find ways to be a menace to them. And overwhelming calls and paperwork and time that we take up of theirs is not nothing, but it's also not a stopping point. Registering to vote, I will leave the information for you to make sure you're registered to vote. Get all your friends registered to vote. Get all your family registered to vote. Make sure they're voting these Nazi motherfuckers out of office. It matters, from school board elections all the way up to your senators. It matters. It's also not a stopping point. You have to keep going. You have to find the things that you can do. If for you, going to a protest and speaking out loudly will cause you to lose your job, and maybe you're the breadwinner in your home, and maybe you're the only reason why your chronically ill family members have health insurance. Understandable. If you have money to spare, donate mutual aid, not to national organizations, but to mutual aid, to people who are on the ground, to people who are asking for supplies for people who are on the ground, to people who have lost their jobs but have dedicated their work to educating, to helping, to being the people like Alex Pretti. There's not nothing you can do. Wanting to do more is a good sign, but there is plenty that you can do in your own communities. Hell, just go through the mutual aid tags on your social media of choice. Pick some, throw $100, $200, whatever you can afford at some of these folks, because they need it to survive. And you got to get in touch with your humanity and care about people you don't know. Anyway, I showed up looking a mess, and I think you have to show up to this moment, even if you're a mess. Just like I've showed up to this podcast looking a fucking mess. Half my light's not even on. Don't worry about being perfect. If you worrying about the right time for things and doing things the right way and having this big reveal or making sure everything is just perfect before you launch something, before you go into something, before you start something, it's never the right time. It's never going to be perfect. Do it now. Don't wait for it. Show up messy, do it now, and do it imperfectly. And when someone tells you, hey, this isn't helpful, say, okay, have some follow-up questions, learn from it, do better next time. But don't use that as an excuse to stop. Every Wednesday, I'm putting out a newsletter of things that white folks specifically can do to take inventory of themselves and their life and decide what they can and can't do to help this moment. Just like at any company, you've got different people who do different things. Their skill sets are different. Their roles are different. We need that in this moment too. So maybe you can't be out in the front lines, or you shouldn't be out in the front lines. Being scared is not an excuse to not be out on the front lines. If you're able-bodied and you can do it, then you should do it. But maybe you can't. There are other things that you can do. So I'm going to help you try and find what those things are and give you a process on how to take inventory of those things, decide what you're willing to sacrifice for your fellow humans and for the future of all of our children, and give you a path forward to enact change in your own community. Every Wednesday that comes out. And we're doing it slowly because you can't just jump in the deep end the first time you're learning how to swim. You might drown or hurt someone else or distract from the whole swimming class in the process. And I want you to be safe as possible, and I want you to do it right. And I want all of us to, this is a marathon, not a sprint. And I think we have to keep that in mind as we're moving forward. There's nothing that any one of us can do that's going to fix this tomorrow. We have to think about it long term, and I want to help you do that. I have the time and the energy to put all of these things together. I'm also not employed by a corporation who's going to fire me because I'm being loud about the slave catchers that are in the fucking streets. I know everyone's tired. I'm tired. We're all tired. I want to thank you for listening to me. Thank you for walking through this with me. It's not perfect, but it doesn't have to be. And I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Please, if you're not in the Patreon, join the Patreon. All of the information that I'm giving out that's relevant to the moment we're in the United States is free. You can join as a paid member. There are paid member perks. There are things that are behind a paywall, mostly for my safety. Being doxxed was not fun last week. Hated that a lot for me. There are things that are behind a paywall, but most everything is free. I only ask that if you can support me, $5, $10 a month, whatever it is, please do. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you listening to me, and we'll see you next week.